What you might hear on the Dad podcast can be considered offensive. We have explicit content. You have been warned. Proceed with caution.
Titties!
You're listening to the Dad Podcast.
Let's get started.
Fuck those little kids.
I'm solo, I'm riding solo, I'm riding solo, I'm riding solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight.
Well, here I am again doing another solo episode. With family and friends and sports and school starting back up, it's getting harder and harder to find someone who can do this all the time. But I'll just keep going, keep pushing through. I woke up this morning to cloudy, rainy weather, my happy weather. Really puts me in a good mood. I don't know why. I'm a little weird that way, I guess. I love the gray, the gloom, the rain, the colder air. I'm not a fan of the heat at all whatsoever. It does things to me I don't like. I just can't stand it. It's just uncomfortable. I would rather be cold than hot. And so I'm looking forward to the fall coming up very quickly, please. My wife likes to tell me, it's cooling down. Next week's going to be cooler. It's still going to be 89, 90 degrees. Still way too hot for me. I'm talking like 50s, 60s. That's the best temperature out there. I'm fine with the sunshine. I do like the gray. I'm fine. Bring the sun out, but just don't go above 60. Keep it 60 and below. I would be so happy. I know where I'm at in Idaho. That's definitely not a possibility. That happens. The weather likes to fuck with you here. The weather likes to say, "Oh, you're enjoying this? Well, here," and just completely turn it around. It doesn't want to keep anybody happy. It wants to keep everybody mad. And thanks, weather. You're awesome. I'm glad you're there for me. Speaking of being there for you, how many chances do you give a friend? And I'm doing air quotes here. Someone you considered a friend to not be there for you before you just completely get them out of your life. And some people that's hard to do. That's hard to just say, look, you've been around forever, and we've been friends, we've done things together, and then all of a sudden like, I just don't want you around anymore. How many chances do you give them? How often do you let that happen? Before you're like, look, you're just not a good person. And I'm older. I've had many friends like that. I've had friends that I grew up with, and we were together nonstop, almost every day. And I haven't seen one of them for years, and I still consider him a friend. I do feel it's probably not the way it used to be, 100%. Things change, obviously. I don't know. I honestly really don't know. I do feel in my heart that if I called him up, he'd be there if I really needed him. But I can't say that for sure. And then I've had friends that I've only known for, a few years of my adulthood that would drop everything on a dime and be there for me no matter what it was. And then I have people who I thought were my friends, and I ask for the smallest favor, like, hey, my car died. Can you come help me out? And I get answers like, just take an Uber. Not doing anything. Just sitting on their couch doing nothing. Just take an Uber. I don't want to help you. That's not a friend. That's not even like, I don't know, not even an acquaintance. Not somebody I would be like, hey, that's cool. You didn't want to help me out. That's cool. Let's go have a beer. No. I just, I don't need that. I don't want that in my life. I don't need that in my life. And then there's the friends that are work friends. People you see at work, but you really don't care to hang out with outside of work. And they keep on trying to get you to go. They invite you sometimes to things, and then they don't invite you to some things. And then they make you feel bad if you don't go to things, and then you're upset that they didn't invite you to certain things. I don't know where I'm going with this, but my oldest has moved out. He's moved out onto his own. He's still close. He's still in the same city as I am, but his friends and what is considered friends nowadays and how they make them and how they interact is totally alien to me. I don't get it. Even, all my kids, not just my oldest, but I'm talking about my oldest because he lives alone and I want him to be able to go do things with friends. But sometimes he goes and does things with so-called friends or people that I don't necessarily think he should hang out with. And I get it. I can't do anything but give my opinion. But will giving my opinion drive him farther away? Make him not even come to me for things. So it's hard being a parent, and trying to show them the right way or tell them, trust me on this. This is not the kind of person you want in your life. And he does get hurt when somebody he wants in his life pretty much just screws him over. And then a week later, or even 3 days later, it's all like nothing ever happened. And, and being an outsider, and I'm sure, when I was younger, or even maybe in adulthood, if my wife, if you were to talk to her, she'd probably say the same thing, that I do that sometimes. And maybe I do. And I just don't see it. But how do you tell somebody who's already like, all right, I'm going out on my own? How do you tell them, hey, this person that you are fighting so hard to keep as your friend is not a good person, does not need to be in your life, and is only going to cause you heartache, pain, and trouble? Why even try? Like, it's just what do you do? As a parent, how do you do that? How do you handle that? It's not something that's easy, and I've talked to him a couple times, and I tried to tell him, hey, he's not a good person. His heroes are horrible people. Horrible, horrible people. And he looks up to them and thinks they're great. And people, him and I have talked about that are horrible, and how are they allowed to even be out in the world and pushing their horrible ways onto other people, and knowing that they're not good people, yet this person idolizes that and wants to be like that and strives to be like that horrible person. Why would you want that in your life? Why are you pushing so hard to make this person your friend? And is it like, do you think you can change them and make them see the error in their ways? Or what? I don't know. Like, he's a good kid. My oldest is a great kid. He's very, very helpful, very, artistic, very out there, very willing to help if somebody needed help, even if it was somebody he didn't like. If his worst enemy came up to him and said, hey, I need help doing this because I can't do it myself, he would do that. And I take pride in that, because I feel that as a parent, I helped raise him to be that way. And I'd like to say that I'm that way. And he would do that for this person or people or anybody. And it just hurts him. And then I, as a parent, sit there and I listen and I take in and try to comfort him in this hurt. And so then I feel the hurt. And then I get pissed and I want to go say something to this other person, but I know that's going to hurt him even more. And I get it at some point, and I never understood this when I was younger. I do get you have to let go at some point, but when is that point? Because you're always going to be the parent. You're always going to be there. So when is that point to let go? Like, and why? Why do you have to let go? I get letting them make their own choices. And my wife and I, we've never been huge on like sheltering or stopping them from doing things that they want to do or try, even if we didn't quite agree with it. So we're not like, holding on tight and, oh, my little boo bear. No, it's not like that. But can you ever, as a parent, just let go and be like, whatever? How do you do that? Like, and I see people in the news and people in this area that do that to their kids when they're still living with them and they're at a young age, and be like, just whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to do anything for you. I've got a couple kids in my neighborhood that I believe they don't get food unless they get it at school. I don't think they get dinner. I don't think their father takes care of them at all. And it's to the point sometimes where they come over and they're like, can I have dinner at your house tonight? And I feel like a jerk because, honestly, 100% of the time, they're not really the nicest kids. Sometimes they say things, they do things that I don't agree with, and it makes me mad. They talk to me in a way that I don't feel is respectful, and I don't want that in my house. But then I think about it after the fact. I was like, that's how they're raised. That's what they're shown is the way to treat people. And am I a bad person for turning it away? Or seeing these kids and I mean, by no means is the kid look like he's starving. Okay. And I'm not trying to talk down about him, but I do just things I hear and things I see and between his interactions with other people and stuff. And this is now my youngest son that I'm talking about. And some of you who listen know the kids I'm talking about because you've dealt with them too. And like, do you step into that? And I used to think yes. And, again, this is going on like when do you let go of your kids? And I personally 100% do not feel that is a good time. In my mind, it was really never a good time. But 18, I understand if a parent just like lets go of their kid at 18, be like, look, you're on your own now. Make your life and your choices. I get that. But you should still be there and still be in their life and support them in their choices and help them see, if you can, their choices. And these kids are young. I'm like my youngest is 12 and it's like his age or below. And I've been in this area and I pretty much have watched them grow up. And so I see what goes on in their lives and I do feel for them. And then here I am still saying, no, you can't eat dinner at my house because I didn't make enough for you too. And I feel bad. I do feel bad at the time I say it. I feel bad afterwards. But is it my job to, take on this other kid and support them and help them out? And I mean, I don't know. I probably sound like a jackass, saying my job or whatever. I don't always shut them out, and I do try to do what I can, but how could a parent let them go so young when I can't even let mine go when he's old enough to be let go? And I guess that's what I'm getting at. Like I don't know if I'll ever be able to let go. Like I love my kids. I love being a dad, and I try to be a good role model and parent to them. And when it's time, when my youngest moves out, I mean, look, he's 12. He'll be 18 in 6 years and maybe moving out of the house. I don't know. When that time comes, how am I going to feel then? Am I going to be able to? If right now my oldest is out. I mean, and the crazy part is like, yes, he's out. He doesn't live with us. He didn't sleep here. But he's still my employee too, so I see him every day. I would talk with him all the time. But it still feels like, I don't know, like he's leaving. And how as a parent do you let that, or do you accept that, or do you be okay with that? Like it's tough. And I never thought I was going to be the parent that was going to be that way. I never thought growing up or even into my 20s and 30s, even when I first had the kids, like I never thought that I was going to be like so torn about my kids moving out when they were old enough. But here I am. And it's just trying to figure out, like, am I still trying to push too much to be in his life? Am I helping enough? And this is all going back to the whole friend thing. Like, do I just step aside and let him see that these are bad people and get hurt? Or worse, because some of this can get him in worse trouble than just being emotionally hurt. Or do I keep pushing and saying, hey, trust me on this. These are not the people you want in your life. But also, I don't want to push him into anything else. by doing that. So, what do you do as a parent? What do you do? How do you handle situations like this? Obviously I've got many more years to go, and I'm sorry, all these people, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, like, I'm not going to go out and buy books and read books on how to be a parent, because there is no right way. Be there for your kids, show up, be a parent. No book is going to tell you how to raise your kids. It's going to tell you how they raise theirs and how they think is the right way to do it. No. Okay, that's not the right way for everybody. And yes, I make comments that this generation and the generation below me who is having kids now, we are sheltering and raising our kids in a way that is making them to where they cry and want to sue people and throw fits and cause problems because they didn't like what somebody said, whether it was towards them or towards somebody else. It's like, I'm not saying like they should be raised like with a strict hand and teach them to be tough, but stop getting offended over every little thing that is said, especially when it's not said to you, about you, or to anybody you are with. People can talk. Sometimes people just need to say things, and sometimes they just come out and it just happens, and they don't necessarily mean what they say. It's just in at the spur of the moment, and just butt out. All right. Now back to like, do you step in as an outsider when you see something not right with the kid? And I used to think, yes, you should. I mean, definitely 100%. And I still deep down feel, yes, step in. Don't let this kid be treated this way. But then I was told by somebody, and I never thought about it this way, sometimes when you step in and you do that, it makes it worse for the kid because you have embarrassed or shamed their parent, and then they get mad, and then they take it out even more on the kid. So what do you do? Like, do you risk that? Or do you sit back and be like, if I say something, it's going to be worse for him, so I'm just going to let him keep being treated and raised this way? Do you hide, to the side and act like you don't see anything? Do you let them in your family in a sense, which I grew up that way. And I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. I didn't grow up in an abusive or horrible family, environment. I grew up in the sense that I had friends over for dinner a lot. My friends were over all the time. They'd eat dinner, breakfast, whatever. My brothers and sisters' friends were over all the time. I grew up in a house where friends were able to just come over. All right. Nowadays, it's not the case. And I do get it. It's like, I have some of my kids have anxiety and can't be around a lot of that. My wife doesn't like to be around a lot of loud noise and people. And it makes it even more tough because I'm the opposite. I like having people around. I like having the noise. I like hearing my kids play and enjoy and have fun. So what do you do in that sense? Like, do you bring them in and let them eat dinner here every night because you feel they're not getting the right food? Is that going to cause more problems in their home life? Is their parent or parents going to, get upset that they're over here and then stop that from happening and make it worse? Like, where is it right in to step in, or is it right to step in, or how do you handle something like that? Like, it's tough. I on a different subject, because just the way I keep jumping back and forth made me think of this. It's been brought to my attention by multiple people, and I never have thought this in my life, that maybe by chance I might have some sort of A.D.D or something like that, and I never thought about it. I know my wife makes fun of me for my half sentences or just, changing subjects out of nowhere. And I try to explain it to her, like, in my mind, there's just a thousand things going on. Like, and I'm not trying to make it say like I'm I'm a genius and I'm always this. There's just all kinds of things always going on in my head. And sometimes it's like I'm having a conversation and I think I'm having a conversation. And so I will keep going on that. And then people around me are like, what? And I think I'm having that conversation with them and I guess I'm not. Or, you know, something will come up like, oh yeah, this. And it has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, or I'll come back to it. We'll be going over something. Just like I do, you know, sometimes when I'm on here with my buddies and we're talking and we'll have a conversation. We were like, what was that? I can't remember what that was. 30 minutes later, just out of nowhere, I'm just like, boom. And I spit it out. But then everybody's confused, like, what? And then I'm like, you know, back there. So, and it does sometimes, like, annoy me too, because I can't shut my brain off. And I get it, and I hear about it a lot, and it does drive me crazy. But how do you know, like, again, back when I was a kid, 80s, they were just drug kids. And to an extent, they still are today, and it annoys me. I'm not a fan of being medicated. Prescription drugs, I think a lot of them, the side effects, the possibility of some of these side effects are worse than the outcome of what they can do for you. But that's a totally different subject. But back when I was younger, like, kids would be taken all the time to be checked, and then they get drugged up on Ritalin or something, and it just makes them numb to the world. And does it help? Does it not? Like, how would you even know? Like, I know, I'm sure I was never tested, but even if I was, I would never want to be on medication all the time. I've seen what medication does to people around me. And like, I was just looking, when I was talking about that, I was just looking, the best way to know for sure whether or not you have A.D.H.D. or A.D.D. is to take an assessment. And I'm like, okay, but is it really accurate? Just hopping online and doing it. Is my half sentences or my million things going on in my brain all the time, is that a symptom of ADD or ADHD or is it bad? Like, I don't take it as something bad. Annoying sometimes, yes, but bad. I don't think it's something bad. Like, and again, going back to the medication, I don't want to be medicated. I don't want to change who I am or how I am. Like, medication could screw up with my, like, I enjoy having a very great, vivid imagination. I can look at things and see things and things that nobody else can see other than a few people that are around me. I love that. I don't want that to change. I don't want anything like that gone. Some of the symptoms look like it says difficulty paying attention. I guess, I have had people tell me that they don't feel like they have my attention, and they do. It just like my kids, like, they'll be talking to me and I'm hearing it and I'm taking it in, but I'm doing something else at the time. And they do yell at me a lot. They get mad at me. Like, you're not even listening. And I'm like, yes, I am. And I can repeat what they said. And sometimes that makes me even more mad. Sometimes it doesn't. But is it a bad thing? You sit down to answer an email with a dry beep, so you get up and empty. That happens a lot at work. I sit down to do something, and that has caused a few problems at work. Not bad, but like, I'll sit down to send an email, take care of something at work, and something else will happen, and I'll get up and go do that, and then I forget that I was doing the first thing, and it doesn't get taken care of, and then it comes up later, and I do apologize. Like, that's my bad. I sat down to do it, and something came up, and I forgot. I don't think I frequently interrupt people. Hopefully not. I do have a lot of stuff that goes missing daily. That is something. So just in the difficulty paying attention, I have 1, 2, probably 3 out of the 5 things. Mood swings, I don't think I have them. My wife has told me, not quick to temper, but she has pointed out that sometimes I look like I'm angry. I just think that's my mug. That's just my face. I don't know. Like, I get asked a lot by her if we're out and about, what's wrong? What's wrong? Nothing. Like, I'm just sitting here. I don't see what I look like. I don't think my temperament changes, but I have been told, so I guess that's one. I don't think I get frustrated with my kids a lot more than any other adult. When you tell your kid to clean their room for 2 years straight and it's still not clean, and then you yell at them again to clean their room, or you tell your kids to go put on their shoes or go do this, and they said, I can't find them, and you turn your head and they're sitting right there. Like, I think that's normal adulthood with kids. I don't think that's, I'm not going to give myself that one. I don't feel that's there. I also don't feel that my emotions are not within my control. I am tired a lot, especially more nowadays. But it's not like I just attribute that to work and my son in football and school starting up for the kids and so many things I want to get done. And again, so many things going on in my brain. I feel I get plenty of sleep. It's not like I wake up at 6 a.m. and be like, I want 2 more hours of sleep. I don't feel that. But I do get tired. But again, I'm old, out of shape. It happens. I mean, who at the age of 44, who is not in the best of physical conditioning, doesn't get tired a lot. It's just, I think that's more me. So I don't think the mood swings really fit into my figuring out if I do have ADD or ADHD at all. But I could be wrong. This is obviously me on how I think. Maybe some of these assessments need to be taken by people in your life too, not just you, because maybe I'm in a denial. Maybe I just don't see it. Disorganization. One junk drawer you dig through to find a pen doesn't count. We're talking about overall struggle to keep things orderly. Look for these symptoms. Let's see. Friends and family loving the joke that your room, house, car is a mess, and they watch you search for things. Okay. Again, let's discuss this. So my desk at work, my art desk, my computer desk at home, and my podcast room shed, I keep organized. I would love to keep my garage organized. Now, the downside to this, and yes, I'm going to push off the blame here. There's also 3 kids and another person besides me, my spouse, living in this house. All right. And I'm not saying the whole mess is theirs. I do sometimes also make it messy, but I'm not taking the full blame for this garage. So we'll give that one a 50-50. I don't struggle to prioritize work. No. And more than a few missed deadlines. No, I don't think I have many missed deadlines. Again, you'd have to ask my boss there. I don't think I do, but who knows? Hyperactivity. Doodling during a less than thrilling meeting, yes. But if your hands, feet, or entire body must always be in some sort of motion, that might be something to look into. I do move around a lot. Even if I'm just sitting at a desk, either my legs are bouncing, my hands are moving. I talk with my hands. I don't know. I just feel that's a normal trait. I don't know if friends and family regularly ask me to stop tapping my foot, just shaking a table, or making an annoying sound. I guess my wife does, and my boss does. I usually keep a racquetball or some sort of ball like that I play with. I fidget around with, bounce around. I got a little rubber frisbee that I do the same thing with. I don't stand up and walk around during meetings. I do maybe focus better when I keep my hands busy. I do definitely hyper focus this thing. When it says like, where did the time go? You find yourself swept up in the flow of an activity, a book or task, and losing hours. Yes, I've had that happen, but who hasn't? I mean, you sit down, you pick up a good book and you start reading, and then 3 hours can go by and you're like, whoa, what? Who hasn't had that happen? I don't know if that really counts. Impulsivity and creativity. You take risks. You don't always think through consequences. Yeah, that's me a lot. I do feel that I'm a creative person. So who knows? I don't know. Like, again, anybody who listens and knows me, you can make your own assumption and come across whether yes or no. But I don't know. It's hard. And then again, coming back to it, even if I am diagnosed with it or have it, is it really a bad thing? I've gone 44 years living my life this way, and I don't feel it's bad. I think I'm in a great place. I've got a wife, I've got 3 kids, I've got a house, I've got, whatever I need. I'm doing this podcast. I've got supports from some people on certain things, and some people I'd rather have support from that I don't. But whatever, I am in a good place, and I don't feel. My wife and I, we don't fight. We argue once a month, but we don't fight. We don't yell. We don't. It's definitely not a problem. So, is it a problem? Like, why would medication make it better? Why medicate myself and change who I am because I might have this? And I won't. Even if I do take an assessment or I see a doctor and they diagnose me, I will not take medication. I won't do it because I don't see it as a bad thing. I sometimes love that there's so much going on in my head. I have journals. I have different things that sometimes I'll be like, and I'll write it down. I take notes on my phone, and it's just I find it to be a good thing. Like it's awesome, and I don't know why or when or why does it ADD or A.D.H.D. Why does it have to be a bad thing? It doesn't seem like. I mean, reading through some of the symptoms, they don't seem like they're horrible. You know what I mean? They're not problem causing. I guess if you can't sit still in a meeting at work, that could end up causing a problem. But I mean, who likes boring meetings anyways? Have a meeting over the phone or online. I don't know. Like again, and this is just me. This is just one person saying, this. And as some of you who listen, Sean, I really love getting your feedback. Julie, my sister, Chase from this actual podcast listens and gives me feedback. So maybe you 3 tell me, do you think there's a chance? Do I seem like somebody who has that, or is it just a couple people who don't understand me? And let's go on to that too. Like understanding other people. Like I know that my oldest, he's got issues, anxiety, and some other stuff going on. And even my daughter, my middle child, she also does. I don't understand the feelings they have, the things that go on in their mind. But I do try to help when I can. And I talk to them and try to get, how to help. So I don't know, like don't place judgment, I guess is what I'm saying, on other people. Like, and I'm not saying my wife judges me for any of my issues. Sometimes I do feel judged and treated different by certain people, even people in my life, family people. I feel like they're judging me because I'm not who they think I should be, or any of that. But like, how can anybody judge somebody else? And I don't mean like, how can you judge somebody who murdered somebody else? I mean like just daily normal people who are good people. How can you judge what they wear, who they are, how they act? You don't know what goes on inside them. You don't know what's going on in their head. You don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know what's going on with them physically. I'm not as active as I used to be. And up until now, and I never even thought about it. And maybe it is the placebo effect or whatever, but I found out a year or 2 ago that I have a pretty bad deviated septum on one side of my nose. I didn't know I had this. But now I do notice that I get winded or it's harder to breathe or my allergies are really bad. Now, if I was never told I didn't have that deviated septum, would it still be the same way? Or would I think everything's fine? I don't know. But or the way the heat hits me and people are like, you're just a pussy. Okay, think of me what you will, but you don't know how it affects me. You don't know how I feel. So, how is it okay? When did we, as a people, have we always been so judgmental of everybody else? Have we always been so easy to jump in and tell them that what they're doing is wrong or that they should stop that? And maybe we have, maybe we haven't. I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that. It's just not judge people. We don't know what goes on in people's lives. Take into account, all these assholes who are, especially Florida. Florida's bad, and other states too. But, I just saw it on the news article on it again the other day. Like, Florida's making it illegal for a man to dress in drag. Why? Because you don't like how it makes you feel that a man wants to wear a dress? Well, what does it matter? It's not hurting anything. He's not out there robbing a bank because he's wearing a dress. He's not out there raping women because he's wearing a dress. He just wants to wear a dress. Let him be. Who cares? And you all who listen, thank you very much for sticking around listening, know how I feel about transgender and the LGBTQ plus community and all that. And where's it our place to tell them who they can and can't love? My wife was watching a show this morning, and I come down, and this girl didn't have a good relationship with her dad, but she calls her dad. And it's one of those reality shows, and I'm doing air quotes again because I feel a lot of those reality shows are staged, and it's not all true. A lot of it's scripted or whatever. But be that as it may, whatever. She didn't have a good relationship with her father. Her sister talked to her into it. She called her father, and her father made some very bad derogatory comments over the phone, which was recorded and put on the show, about the LGBT community. And she got pissed. She won't talk to her father. And I'm the same way. Like I have people in my life that have problems with it. Cool. You're not in my life anymore. I don't care. Like, you could be such a nice person to people and be like, yeah, I'll come help you and all that. And then you see something that you're like, no, that's not right. You shouldn't be a man who feels like he's a woman. No, screw you. And then you don't treat them well because they're different than you, or a color of skin because their skin color is different than you. And you're like, nope, that's not right. Who are you to judge? Like, you don't know. And I wish it wasn't that way. And I don't think it's ever going to change. I want it to change. I would love for it to change. I would love for everybody to just be able to live life and enjoy it. I love life. I love living it. I love enjoying it. I love experiencing new things, seeing new things. Why can't we just let other people do that too? And again, I'm not talking murderers, rapists, I'm not talking let them be. I'm talking let people be people and stay out of their life. Let them be happy. Why can't a man marry a man or a woman marry a woman and just be happy? That kind of stuff. But, yeah, so also I've been reading a book. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And I found out some, I don't want to say friend, but a Facebook friend, someone I knew in high school, posted the other day that he just got these books and he's reading them. And so I commented, me too, and they are great. And it really does, going through it, there's so much good in them. I'm not fully through it, but there is a lot of good things in them, and it does make me think. I want to say it makes you think, but I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't. But some of them, like this one is a quote from a philosopher, Albert Camus, and he said, "You will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of. You will never live if you are looking for the meaning of life. So don't try." And I fully agree with that. Like, the more you try, and I don't mean everything in your life, but the more you try to be happy, or the more you try to be like, I'm gonna, I don't know where I was going with this. I just don't try. Just be in the. Okay, let's just go to people trying to have a baby. They're trying to force their body to get pregnant, and all it does is depress them and make them sad because it's not happening. Don't try. Just go out there and live, and it's gonna happen. And I'm not a religious person. I'm not, heaven, hell, God, demons, Satan, whatever. But I am it'll happen when it happens. And when the time is right, it's going to happen. And maybe sometimes it's going to happen when the time isn't right, but you got to just adapt to that. My son Riley wasn't born at a time we were prepared and ready to have our third child, but we went with it and we did it. And he's a great kid and he's had a good life. And I'm happy at the young man he's becoming. And it's, you just roll with it and go. But yeah, like the whole, don't try to, I guess I'm taking away from that. Like, don't try to be happy. Just be happy. Be happy with what you have, or be happy with who you're with. I mean, if you're not happy with who you're with, then get out and go find somebody you are happy with. I'm not telling you to stick in a relationship you're not happy with. I'm just saying, like, why go out and, like, that guy's got a better car and he's happy, so I need that car because that'll make me happy. Don't. No, it won't. It won't make you happy to try to be like somebody else. Like, just be you. And that's another saying, and I wish I could remember who said it. Oliver or something, I think. Just be you. Everybody else is taken. And I don't think that's the exact words, quote for quote, but that's like what he's saying. It's like, just be yourself. Like, don't try to be somebody else. Don't like, I'm gonna be Brad Pitt. No, be you, Steve Smith. Like, just be who you are. Accept who you are and be happy with that, and enjoy life, and just enjoy everything around you. And this whole chapter is talking about, like, the desire for more positive experience is itself a negative experience, and paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is itself a positive experience. So yeah, I've had some things I screwed up in my life. I accept that I did that. I don't try to hide it. I don't try to go back and say, look, if I change this, and this, it happened. It's part of who I am. I did it. It's done. Move on. I accept that I did that. I was stupid. Oh, like this here. Okay. Our culture today, and this is so true, is obsessively focused on unrealistically positive expectations. Be happier, be healthier, be the best, be better than the rest, be smarter, faster, richer, sexier, more popular, more productive, more envied, and more admired. Be perfect and amazing, and crap out 12-karat gold nuggets before breakfast each morning while kissing your selfie-ready spouse and 2.5 kids goodbye. Now, that is so true. Like we are so on, like, social media. Social media is a cancer. Social media sucks because everybody's on there and they're trying. And look, I'm on there a lot too. I do look for it, but I don't look for what people are on there looking for. I'd go on. I have a lot of, like, I find the funny videos or the funny memes, but everybody is out there to get, I need 10 million likes. If this video gets 1 million likes, I'll do this. Like, what does it matter? First off, you're asking people who you don't even know to like this or like you. You're putting yourself out there and be like, you need to like me. Who cares? And it's just, we are pushing that, to be happy or to be this, you have to be the most loved and the most famous and the most, envied and have people want to be like you. Why? I have friends, people I know who, are living in a place I'm like, I couldn't live there. And again, I feel bad judging that, but they're happy. They don't care that they don't have a mansion and a Tesla and a Lamborghini and a boat on the water. They don't care. They're happy. They're living life and they're just happy. The kids are good people. They're good people. They don't care. I have a friend who's got a pretty small house, a couple kids, but he's happy. It doesn't matter. He doesn't need a huge house and maids and butlers and all this. And also there's people out there who do have that, who have the maids and the butlers and the cars and the money and the parties, but they're not happy and they don't have the friends. They have people who like them because they have all that stuff. but they're not happy inside. And just, I mean, I love just the title too, just the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Just don't give a fuck. And again, I mean that in a good way. Like, you know, I've been reading it and trying to go towards it, and because I did hold on to a lot. Like, there could be something at work or something in my life, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make things worse for somebody else. I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to be like, and put it away. And there's been something that's bothered me for years, and I sit this person down and be like, here's the deal. This is where it's going to be, and I'm telling you, this is how I feel about it. You do what you want with that. And if you never want to talk to me again, or if it upsets you, I apologize, but I'm not keeping it in anymore. In my personal life, and it might make some people not be around me, but for lack of a better word, I don't give a fuck. I want to be happy, and I want to feel good, and I want to be known. I don't want to hide things. Same with work. You know, I'd let a lot of stuff at work get to me, and it would piss me off, and it would make me angry at work, and people at work would see that, and then I would come home, and I would keep that anger that I had at work about these people and be all pissed off, and then my wife and my kids got to deal with it, or my friends, or we're having a barbecue, or I was camping, and somebody at work sent out an email that said something that really ticked me off, and then I got even mad that my boss didn't step in and say, that's not right, you shouldn't do that kind of stuff. So I let all that get to me, and then almost ruin the entire camping trip and fun for everybody else because I let that get to me, and I didn't just get rid of it. I just didn't give a fuck and get rid of it. I took it in and be like, put it all on myself. And it was a comment that just shouldn't have been made. And again, this isn't my company. I am, you know, a boss in this company, and I want the company to do good because then it helps me do better. But if the owner isn't going to step in and do this, why should I take it upon myself to worry and be upset and make other people around me upset over it, if that makes sense? And this is all just stuff I'm kind of taking from what I'm reading in this book. And I know I'm no philosopher. I'm not, you know, I'm not some genius. I'm not somebody anybody should really probably come to for, you know, answers to anything they have. But it all started because of this last one I want to read to you. It was talking about the whole going off of to don't try. It was and a lot of the don't try came from a novelist, Bukowski or something like that. I don't fully remember, but this guy just like he said he's not a genius. He wasn't overcoming unbelievable odds. It was his simple ability to be completely unflinchingly honest with himself, especially the worst parts of himself, and to share his failings without hesitation or doubt. And it says his real success was his comfort with himself as a failure. And I'm not calling myself a failure. I don't think I've failed. I mean, there's things I've wanted to do or tried that, yes, I do agree I have failed at. But I haven't failed at life. I haven't failed at a lot of stuff I try. And I don't mean that I got it right. I don't mean that I did everything 100%. I just mean I didn't fail. Or maybe I'm still going on that. Also, I don't count not doing something right. Like, you know, when I was growing up, I wanted to be you know, a professional football player or you know, a singer, like most kids. There were certain things I wanted to be, and I didn't be that. I don't count me not becoming that as a failure. If I gave up and be like, I didn't do this, and now I'm just a piece of garbage and I'm out on the street doing meth, that would be a failure. I was like, okay, I wasn't good enough or in the spot I needed to be to accomplish that, so I'll go on to something else. Which is fine. I don't take being, I don't want to say being a failure, because you're never a failure, I guess. I don't take failing at something as making it bad or making you be a failure or whatever I'm trying to say. Like it's just something you go through. It's something that everybody has to deal with. It's something that happens. You know, you're not always going to be number one in the winter. And if you're always trying to be, and if you can't accept that you're not always going to be number one, there's always going to be somebody better at something. Then you can't truly be happy. And that's what I try to tell my kids too. Like my son, my 12-year-old, he's playing football and he's awesome. He's great. He loves it. And I want him to continue to love it. And he keeps talking like, I'm going to be a professional NFL player. And when I am, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I support his dreams, and I'm going to keep supporting, and I keep pushing. I'm like, you can. If that's what you want, you can do it. But I also let him know, like, hey, 1%, and I could even be wrong. It could be less. Maybe it's a little bit more, but 1% of people actually make it to the NFL and to what they want to do. So push for it, keep striving for it, but don't get down if you don't make it. Have fun getting to where you want to be. And I guess the same thing, don't try. Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I want him to try, but I mean, don't try to be like, don't ruin the rest of your life and skip over being a kid or enjoying, you know, a relationship or something because all you're focused on is, I'm going to be this big star of a football player. And you screw up other parts of your life because that's all you care about. Like, try, but do others too. I hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if anything I've said tonight makes sense, but it's about time. I'm going to cut this one. I hope it wasn't horrible. I hope you guys all took something away from my ramblings. Maybe it'll just turn out that you all agree I have ADHD and nothing I said makes sense. Either way, dad bods out, bitches.